Yeah, one thing we learned, you can't
No payments.
pass
How'd
up a
that
good
work?
The country's
beaten
largest
tree
teachers
meeting when you get a
union
chance.
says it supports teaching critical race theory in public
It's a
schools,
term.
even though
What's
concerned
the
parents
difference
across the
between
country are
Lagrangian and
continuing
critical
to push
race?
back.
What's the
National
difference
Education
between chemistry
Association
and critical
approving a
race?
resolution
I
that
don't have a
claims
single
it is reasonable and appropriate
12th,
to include CRT
kindergarten through
curriculum
12th
and
process
pledge
of
to
how
create
that
a
information
team of
FMAs.
staffers
It would
to
be
help
pretty
teachers fight
easy
back
in a
against
system to say, here's our
anti-CRT
common
rhetoric.
value, here's
Wall
what we
Street
get in
Journal
students,
editorial page
here's what we
assistant
know
editor
from
and Fox News
testing on
contributor
trials, because
James
it would be
Freeman
critical
joins us
if
now.
you don't
James,
do it.
thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it's small scale in
You
Hancock,
do
small
know that those who
scale
are
in
in
unions
support
inside
of
what it is.
CRT say
It's really what it comes
united
down. It's
schools is in
well,
effect
any business can be
whitewashing
susceptible
history.
of doing
What's your
something
response?
illegal. Why a union is
No, it's not that at
criterialized
all.
as the
What this
definition
is
of Uber, but
essentially
not
an
in terms of what this is. This is a state board, not a union board. You know, as a group, I never allowed Karen or this asshole to make a determination of what my kids can do. This should have been a private school. When it comes to the parents at this system, we have the system. I don't want to change new things to integrate a cost for some reason when the books are the books, short of those books being physically torn apart by their critical point inside here. How long they last on average is those books with kids in school. That would be critical. It's a math. It's a system. It's also esoterics. It's also eschatology. It's also philosophy. It's also psychology, which can be broken down into multiple indexes of the same math problem with a different result. And it is critical. It's nuclear. Of course, you don't want to train a kid in 12 or in 10th grade or whatever nuclear fission. It's pretty heavy. But that's the nature of A delta B. That's the Pythagorean theorem, SOHCAHTOA. A on height for a triangulation, tar, tan, whatever value, sine, cosine. If you take those out, it would be critical. And I bet you not one of them has changed this math problem. It's a book. Somebody wrote a book. They said that that's going to go inside of this school. It was not voted by the board of these people across the board. And this is an effect across multiple countries and states, which these people are not in charge of. You do the math, it would become critical. The math problem in itself, if you want to teach this stuff in a public state to the Common Core in your private school or Catholic school, by all means, you get the parents to do that. But when it comes to a common syllabus that everybody has to unifiably agree with, 51% is critical. When we do the math on 51% of votes, what happens? What happens? What is the critical esoterics when we do the math of Lagrange's transformation over anybody's, Karen's transformation, Bob's transformation? It would be critical, wouldn't it? Let's look at the times in history, because it'll be in the class, and it's not any different on value. It has to equal 0, has to equal 1, has to equal the new mu at 5 sigma. This is where you are today in the singularity.
If you want to say everything is about race